continue exploring. We've got a few more people to talk to.
Hello.
Let there be harmony here. Yeah, for about one chapter, and then we're gonna get into trouble.
What do you want? I am Yuritsa. I teach here. Weapon instruction. These are the training grounds. Goodbye.
This character sounds so much better in Japanese. Like, I don't know why the voice director went with this direction in English, but it is just absolutely sleep-inducing. Let's go to the second floor. Let's talk to some more people. Yeah, you've never seen me before, I'm new here. We can actually go up here later after the time skip.
Let's see. I'm real busy, so could you please move along now? Thanks. Okay, now, what else did Lady Rhea need doing today?
Cyril, one of the most underrated characters in the entire cast. I like him.
Here I am again, the office of the Captain of the Knights. That said, I'm merely here to assist. Apparently, the current captain is getting on in years. I hear the captain has a hard time keeping up with the responsibilities of the job. That's where I come in.
Okay, so fun fact, if you play as the Golden Deer, the first time you talk to Gerald, he will tell you to watch over Leonie as well, because he was only her, she was only his apprentice for like a week, but he's still like, yeah, please keep an eye on her.
This is my research laboratory. I've worked hard to furnish it with the rare materials and purpose-built equipment required for my work.
And if you play as male Byleth, and you talk to Manuela in this spot, remember this is literally the second conversation you have ever had with her. She basically says, close the door and take off your clothes. Like, she's literally like, oh, you're very straightforward. Okay, I like a man who knows what he wants. Close the door, let's go. And they're like, Manuela, this is our second conversation. This is our second conversation. And Mal, what you say about by the time you can recruit him, you can recruit him a lot earlier if you play as the Golden Deer or the Blue Lions. It's only if you play with the Black Eagles that you can recruit him that late. And yeah, the problem with Cyril is he has the worst stat growths in the game, but his personal ability doubles his stat growth percentages. And after that, he has the best stat growths in the entire game. The problem is, when he gets auto-leveled by the AI, he doesn't get his personal bonus. He only gets like his base stat growths, which are shit. And also, I think the AI auto-levels him in, I think it was in lances and bows or axes and bows, which is like, you cannot skill into any advanced class with those two. Like, it's the most useless auto level up possible. So if you're playing as the Black Eagles, yeah, he is going to suck. And in general, if you want to do a Silver Snow run, and you want to do a church-only Silver Snow run because it's thematically appropriate, literally every route is better for a church-only run, except for Silver Snow. And Crimson Flower, obviously, because I don't want to spoil it in case anybody who watches this has not yet played the game. But yeah, if you want to do a church-only run, or if you want to recruit Cyril, I recommend doing Blue Lions of Verdant Wind. I think we can recruit him as early as chapter 5. So we're gonna get him very early on, and we are actually going to try to get everybody into a masterclass, even the people that we're not using, just because I like the idea of Byleth not leaving any of her students behind. So we're gonna try to do that, and we're gonna try to put him on a Wyvern, which is actually, if you can put him on a Wyvern, he's basically a discount Claude, because he's also very strong in axes and bows, and so you can basically use him like that.
Hello, Professor. Dropping by so soon? Are you ill? This is the infirmary, you know. If you're ever wounded or sick, do feel free to drop by. Or if you would like a nice cup of tea. Would you? Well, some other time.
I'm actually surprised that this place looks so tidy considering what we learn about Manuela soon enough. Also, I love that she basically put a scalpel into her anatomical dummy here and hung her coat up on it. That was just hilarious. Yeah. Blessings of the goddess upon you. Thank you, you too. Let's move on.
Hello. Welcome to the library. Here you may find literature from the far reaches of Fodla. I am Tomas, the librarian. If you have need of me, do not hesitate to ask. I have worked here for... I have lost track of the decades, it seems.
Yeah, and we will find out soon why you lost track of the decades. There's a very good reason for that. Okay, we can't go in here yet, and this... I felt so betrayed by this door because you can only get here in the second part. I kept on coming back here every single chapter of part 1, hoping that this door would finally open, and eventually I just completely gave up on it, and then in chapter 18 or so I ended up back here and I was like, wait, I can actually go there? Are you kidding me? Like, seriously? I feel so sheepish about that now. I feel betrayed. Oh, yeah. Moving right along, and we go back to Rhea. And this is the part where you actually have to choose which house you want to teach, so this is the important one.
How are you enjoying your time at the academy thus far? I hope you have found our halls brimming with the vitality of well-intentioned souls.
I suppose it is time for you to take charge of one of our 3 houses of students. I must note that I am personally against entrusting someone as lacking in trackable history as yourself with such a task. But it is as the Archbishop desires.
The Black Eagles, the Blue Lions, and the Golden Deer. All so different. I hope you've made it a point to get to know each of them.
Since you are new here, we have decided to allow you first pick. Manuela and I will take charge of the remaining 2 houses.
Yep, we're going to go with the Blue Lions. Let's go.
So you have chosen the Blue Lions led by Dimitri, correct?
Yes, let's go.
Your heart has made its choice then. All I ask is that you guide these open minds with virtue, care, and sincerity.
They are all promising youths who bear the weight of Fodlan's future upon their shoulders. I hope you appreciate what an honor it is to lead them.
Brother? Oh, I am so sincerely sorry. I did not mean to interrupt.
I'm in the middle of something, Flame. Is it urgent?
No, it's nothing. More importantly, who is this?
This is our newest professor at the Academy.
Oh my! A new addition to the Officers' Academy! I am so very pleased to meet you, Professor. I am Seteth's little sister, Flame. I am so happy to make your acquaintance.
Let us focus on the topic at hand. There is something you should be aware of. In a few days' time, there will be a mock battle between the 3 houses, intended to gauge the current progress of the students. We will be using this battle as an opportunity to ascertain your own abilities as well. Please do not disappoint the Archbishop. That is all.
Wait, does this mean our new professor is... No, I really can't believe it! But I was speaking to you so casually, as though we were companions. Oh, I am so sorry, Professor. You just look the same age as the rest of us, and... Oh, and I'm sorry I just said that too. I really must watch my tongue.
Okay, so fun fact about this. Or, well, not so fun fact if you're into fandom drama. There is a really bonkers take in the when the 3 Houses fandom, in certain circles, that Fargus and Dimitri are actually toxic masculinity because Dimitri has a fake personality and was rude to Byleth, which is basically the big summary. And this is based on the fact that in Japanese, he addresses Byleth with very casual pronouns at first, then as soon as she becomes his professor, he starts using like very polite pronouns, and then he switches back later to casual pronouns. And I just like, see, he was just pretending to be polite, and I'm like, you guys do not understand how the Japanese language works, because first of all, the pronouns that he used were not actually rude, and secondly, this is the equivalent of meeting someone really cool at a bar and then the next day finding out that they're actually your teacher, your tutor. And yeah, you would probably switch from hey dude to Mr. Smith, hello. So yeah, very wild take. Still don't know how we got there, like, doesn't make any sense to me, but okay.
You say that, but I just don't know about all of this.
I'll admit, it doesn't sit well with me either. After all, we wish to show you due respect.
Sure, but if the professor says it's okay, shouldn't that be enough? That is, if your highness can consent to such a thing. After all, we're already speaking this way to our future king, so we may as well relax our speech with our professor too, right?
Well, we're not in the kingdom, so it only goes to follow that we should all speak companionably. I concede. If the professor says it's fine, we ought to accept that kindness gratefully.
As for me, I'm not sure I can manage.
You don't have to force yourself if it's too difficult. You're fine with that too, right, Professor?
Such benevolence is a sight to behold. I don't suppose you would care to join me for tea. We could discuss education and marriage.
Control yourself, Sylvain. I have more important matters to discuss with our new professor. Come to the training ground later. There, you will show me what you're capable of.
You aren't wasting any time, are you, Felix? As it were, count me in for any such battle.
Okay, so one of them immediately wants to marry me.
But I would
One
also
immediately
love
wants to
observe
kill
you in
me.
battle
Awesome.
For future reference, if that's okay with you.
Ash, I won't have you speak of merely watching. You should join us as well.
If you get injured, simply say the word and I'll patch you up straight away.
Your Highness, do take care not to go overboard.
You worry too much to do. I'll be fine, I promise.
My companions, is there not something inherently wrong with crossing blades as a way to bond with each other?
Huh. I never thought of it that way. Well, if that's how you feel, I suppose you'll just stay behind while the rest of us are at the training ground?
Ingrid, my dearest friend, you really are too harsh on me.
Well then, Professor, what do you think? As you can see, the Blue Lion House is a lively bunch, but you'll find none who work harder. I'm certain we'll cause our fair share of trouble, but I'm very much looking forward to the year ahead.
I love the Blue Lions. They are all amazing. What I do not love are those loading times, especially since I've already read all those hints like 500 times. Just move on, please. Thank you.
Say, while you're here, I'd like to use this device I designed to determine whether the power of a crest resides within you. Won't hurt a bit. Promise. You don't know about crests? Well, allow me to tell you everything, absolutely everything about them. Is your calendar clear? This will take a while. Crests are a fascinating topic, but before one can dive deeply into said topic, one must first understand what crests are. They are power incarnate. They are said to have been bestowed upon humans by the goddess countless ages ago. They exist within the flesh and are passed down through bloodlines. Those who carry crests may excel at magic, display exceptional strength, or any number of boons. Each crest has its own power, the nature of which is beyond mortal understanding. For now. I suspect as much, yes. But we won't know for sure unless I look into the matter. As I said, crests are passed down through the blood. However, just because someone carries a crest does not necessarily mean their descendants will inherit it as well. Only a scarce few descendants of a crest's bloodline end up inheriting that crest's power. Perhaps one of your ancestors bore a crest, and you just happen to inherit it. That is how a crest usually presents itself, after all.
At this point, my mind is already going, okay, so crests are passed down through the blood. They're not always... They don't always apply to every child, like only a few have it. Where would this fall in terms of genetics? Like, how exactly does that work? Is that recessive? That should be a recessive trait. How many genes are involved in this? And then I remember that I haven't taken biology or genetics since grade 12, and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna leave that discussion to somebody else.
Yes, of course. I'll get to the bottom of it straight away. Now then, please go ahead and hold out your arm over this device here. What is this? A pattern I've never seen before. Is it possible an as yet undiscovered crest has been detected? To think there are still crests out there that even I am unaware of. How thrilling! Ahem. Pardon my unrestrained jubilation. I have much to consider. You may leave now. I have more research to do in regard to this crest. Yes, so very much more research. But for now, your work here is done. What could this line here be indicating? Perhaps it represents a lack of symmetry. Or perhaps...
Hanuman is always like this close to crossing the line of like mad scientist that needs to be locked up.
What in the world?
But I like it.
Oh, I see. It may be connected to that, but to a greater degree than usual.
And yeah, the irony, of course, is that he does not know what crests actually are. And we do not find out on the Blue Lion's route, but we do find out in Golden, with the Golden Deer, in Verdant Wind and Silver Snow. And I will explain when we get to chapter 11, because it is actually relevant in order to understand the motivations of the characters.
With each moon, professors of the Officers' Academy receive a schedule for the month ahead. It notes the days on which events and missions will take place that month. Pay careful attention to your schedule, so that you may thoughtfully plan what you intend to do each month and when.